It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You know what time it is. That's right. It is, what day is it?
It's Thursday, baby. It's 420.
I am not high.
Happy 420. I wish I was.
I
Jeez
am
Louise.
not high. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
everybody.
man. Let's get this thing
We are
together,
all
man.
discombobulated. Thursday, April 20th, 2023.
I got Ryan high.
Ryan
Before the
Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Braylon, I am completely discombobulated.
Okay, bring it over here. I kicked this thing off.
I literally walked in the building 90 seconds ago.
Yeah, you did. It was, man, how about you do this for us? Explain what happened for the people out there while we're so last minute with this. Explain to the people out there what happened.
Tell the people what happened,
Get the
Tom
people
Mazawey.
going.
I'm here to talk to the people.
Talk to the people.
Well, we were at the great place at Dispo out in Romeo.
Dispo.
Which was freaking packed,
I mean,
by the way.
insane.
Packed with people.
Not only that,
Did you at least did you get me a bag, a goodie bag?
I didn't have a chance.
Oh my god.
Care package.
We pull it up
Look,
and it
look,
starts
care
it starts raining, and I'm looking. Neil is not there. D-Mac is not there. They had to pull the plug on the midday show on Big D Energy a little early because of the rain. So poor Justin's out there with Sam Flannel and JB. They're trying to keep the equipment from frying out. The weather just opened up on us, and we had a great setup up there. And the place, there was a line to get your car into the parking lot. By the way, the place is gorgeous. It looks brand spanking new, which I think it kind of is.
Yeah.
But it's just beautifully done, and I wish we could have done our show from there. We had to make a decision, Adam and all of us. We couldn't fry out the equipment. There was no room for us inside. It was too crowded. So we pulled the plug and all ran back here and hustled back here from Romeo and made it to Birmingham about 5 minutes. I made it 5 minutes earlier. Ryan made it about a minute and a half. Braylon got here a little bit before me.
I got lucky.
Fletch has been here working his ass off on trying to get the show ready. Yeah. We don't have anyone in the audio booth. But wait a minute.
Can we get a camera on Ryan Lentz? Ryan, wave to the people.
Coach Ryan Lentz.
Coach Ryan Lentz. He's coaching baseball this year. Let me say this about Ryan. All those clips and everything that you see on YouTube from our show, this guy right here, this guy works so freaking hard in the back and never gets any credit for it. I'm glad you're up in front, up in center, getting some FaceTime on the show today. Good job. We won't let you say anything, but
so that's why we're here.
Enough with the long, thank you, because he only has 5 minutes for it, so we gotta keep going. But I actually got lucky though.
You got lucky.
I got lucky. So I left my house probably like 12:35, give or take, and I literally was on West Square Lake Road. I was on Square Lake Road, right where you get to the point where Square Lake Road makes you go 75 Flint or 75 Detroit. Maz called me and literally said, hey, turn around. Right as I was getting to Opdyke and Square Lake Road. So when he told me, I feel bad for you guys. When he told me, I was like 11 minutes from the studio.
So that's incredible. So yeah. I was at Fox 2.
I took a nap though in Studio B.
Oh,
that's where I was.
Thank you. God bless you. That's great for you. That's great for you.
I'm sorry.
So early today, I'm obviously at Fox 2.
Right.
I had to make a pit stop close to the station there, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to head out to Romeo now. So I got out to Romeo, and it was a beautiful drive.
You were there?
Yeah, it was a beautiful drive, but I decided to listen to the 35-minute long Brad Holmes press conference from today in my car. So I'm sitting in my car. I parked. Look, the place Dispo was packed. Beautiful facility. But I'm in my car because it is pouring rain and not paying attention to anything. So I'm listening to my car, and then all of a sudden Maz calls me. And he says, don't bother coming out here. I said, Maz, look to your left. I'm seeing you. I'm watching you right now because I'm just sitting in my car listening to Brad Holmes. Yeah. And he turns around, and I wave to Maz. And he's like, get out of here. go back to the studio. We're pulling the plug because it's raining out here. I said,
better than me.
I said, are you sure? And here we are. So I pulled up, and a big faux pas here for Woodward Sports in conjunction with Lady Jane's. So the first 5 spots on Woodward, we like to reserve for the Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men customers, okay? And I pulled up, and the first spot for Lady Jane's parking is available, and I just make a beeline right for it. If I don't park in that spot, and I do have my key right here, if somebody in the back, and I don't know if anybody's in the back because
nobody here.
Everybody's getting high. Everybody's getting high at Dispo right now.
Except me.
Except you and me. And Maz. I said I'll put my key. Somebody can go drive. Somebody can go drive my car and pull it in the garage.
It's so funny you say that. Basically, spot 1 was open. You were allowed to slide in and be able to make it into the start of the show. Correct. Look who's in spot 2. That would be me. I said it's one of those days.
And I'm across the street. And I'm where I was supposed to be.
I am right there. I am right there.
That is so funny,
420, man. Wow.
But I will say to everybody who showed up at Dispo, we've done a lot of remotes. That place was packed.
Yeah.
And I can't thank them enough for their hospitality from the morning show and the guys on Big D Energy, Neil and D-Mac. My goodness. That was one.
Maybe they could resurrect it for the heavyweight.
Yeah, one hell of a setup out there. One hell of a setup. Kudos to you guys at Dispo.
One thing about it is, a lot of these dispensaries, they try to do events. They bring, guys or celebrities that have strands. They bring them out. D-Mac does a lot of stuff at Greenhouse, Bazanzo's back in the day. So you have celebrities that do it. But something about that, because I was on Dispo's page, they seem to get it because they had a Ric Flair event, which it's not hard to sell the man Ric Flair, who follows you, by the way.
Can you believe it?
I saw that. I didn't necessarily see it at first. I was like, okay, this is whoa, does that say follow you?
Dude, and the thing about Ric Flair following me, sometimes there are people that follow everybody. They got like 15,000 people that they follow.
Right.
They got like 1 million followers, but they follow 15,000 people.
Yeah.
He follows 792 people. That's why.
And you're one of them.
And I'm one of them.
And you're one of them.
I'm
That's awesome.
the Earth.
That's awesome.
All those figure fours.
You
And
think
you're
it's
one of
because, you think it's
792.
because of Fox?
Smiling and profiling.
Or Michigan?
Probably
I think it's
both.
because of Fox
I think it's because
or
of
Michigan?
I think it's because of the Michigan because he's boys with Harbaugh.
I know.
And
He was good. He was going to Michigan, so I told you I'm a diehard wrestling fan back, especially back in the day. He was going to Michigan, but he had the grades. So Minnesota let him in, so he went to the University of Minnesota, and then he got kicked out, and then wrestling comes into play. So he's always been a diehard Michigan fan. Just didn't have the grades.
I like your new shirt.
I was just going to mention my new shirt. Look at this.
I didn't know it came in that color.
Shout out to the weather guys today who said it was 80 degrees or going to be 80 degrees today.
It's warming up now.
It is warming up. It is sticky out there now that there's rain. I got this on the WoodwardSports.com shop.
Nice.
Merchandise like I did with the zip-ups, the quarter zips. I bought 3. No? Because they don't have a blue one.
No, it's not that. There's 2 different types of greens that I see. When I'm in Michigan, there's that green. That
Forest green.
It represents Michigan State.
You think this forest green that represents Michigan State?
100% Michigan State. You remember Michigan State's uniforms back in when I played a little after? They got darker.
I remember it.
It's the
just
dark
choose
stuff, man. The light stuff represents the Jets. Do you agree, man?
Kelly Green.
Exactly. See, he even knows the green. That's Michigan State to me.
But
I will fight you.
I picked up 3 of these shirts on WoodwardSports.com and the shop. It's great stuff. I mean, these are comfortable.
The material looks nice.
The material and the price point. I mean, it's great. So I want to invite everybody to go to the WoodwardSports.com.
Something about you like Toe Bridge Road, though.
I'm telling you.
I'm just saying, man.
If you cannot watch the show live, feel free to download our podcast, leave a 5-star review, available anywhere podcasts are found. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Over 41,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I mentioned this the other day, Braylon. I think when we started, we were somewhere around 13,000, 14,000. And what this network has been able to do collectively, each and every single person in this building and beyond, some people who work from home, some of the writers, whatever the case, to, over a year and a half period, grow that audience to 41,600 subscribers, on its way to 50,000. Hopefully by football season, we'll get there. That is completely incredible stuff. Guys, also incredible stuff. Brad Holmes spoke to the media today, had about a 35-minute-long media session. We'll get to that, play you some of the clips. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but two vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to, maybe your kid. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
I think she's confident about, the place that we're at right now and headed into this draft. But yeah, it's always happy to see her, excited. Always happy to see her excited. That's what we do it for. And one day you just want to put that trophy in her hand.
And that's Brad Holmes. Earlier today, the media session that he had, it was really well done. I listened to all of it, and that was the part where he's talking about Sheila Ford Hamp, or Sheila Hamp, whatever she's going by right now. I want to call her by her.
It's Hamp.
It's Hamp. Sheila Hamp. One of the questions to him was, is there anything that she says you can't do? Is there ever a player that, do you give her a heads up on players? If there's a red flag player that you take, that there may be some negative headlines surrounding, do you give her a heads up on that? She's like, yeah. But then he went, Braylon, and talked about, same with Dan Campbell, right? That's the one thing about this organization. They're all working together. Yeah. One of the questions to Brad Holmes was, is there a player that who has veto power? If there's a player that Dan wants, would you draft him? Is there a player, but you don't want him? Would you draft? And vice versa. And he's like, look, man, this is what we've done together. We are so in sync. He's the coach. He's the one that's going to be with him. I'm not giving him a player he doesn't want. It's just that's how in sync this organization is. Awesome. That's right. That's how in sync this organization is. And he talked about their relationship. And I think that's a unique spot in sports when you can have, and we talk about it all the time, Bray, but when you have that kind of cohesion in an organization, that only means one thing, and that's success.
It's called trust.
Yeah.
Like, basically put it, it's called trust. Like, I trust you, Sheila Ham, to do what's right for the organization. I trust you, Dan. I trust you, Brad, to do what's right for the organization. It takes a lot of time to get to that trust point in any relationship, but it seems like over the past 2 years or so, they've gotten to that point. If I'm Sheila Ham, why don't I trust Dan? Brad Holmes, his drafting ability. Look at the players that he's picked. Look at the success that they had. Look at the way the team has turned around thus far. Look at Dan Campbell. Look at Dan Campbell and how he's done a good job building a culture, getting players to buy in, getting players to trust, getting players to show up earlier than they necessarily have to be here. So if I'm Sheila Ham, it's an easy decision to make, but at the same time, logic isn't logic anymore. So for her to be able to really trust Brad Holmes, for her to be able to have this kind of faith in Brad Holmes and let him rock and let the mad scientist cook, man, that's special. Because it takes a long time for these relationships to happen. They haven't even run a playoff game.
Right.
And she has that type of trust in him. So when you have that type of trust in somebody, you don't want to, when you have somebody have that in you, you don't want to mess it up. You don't want to get the wrong player. You don't want to not do your homework. You don't want to bring the wrong people in, and you don't want to have the wrong message. So I think he's going to protect that, and we'll just see how it works out.
This is her team, man. She put this team together. She hired these guys. This is on her back. You heard her talk to the fans the last couple seasons. It's going to take a while. They're here, man. And you know what? No matter who they draft, I'm comfortable.
I agree with that, Tom. I agree that it's her team. Obviously, her name's on the building. But this is Brad Holmes' team. And I think that
I'm just saying she hired this brain trust.
Exactly. And I'm not going against you here. I'm just kind of taking it to another level because I think part of being a great owner is hiring great people and allowing those people, Braylon, to use a word that you just used, and I don't mean to steal it, but it was so good, cook. Let Brad Holmes cook. Yeah. And she has allowed Brad Holmes to do just about anything he wants with this franchise. And he has proved through 2 years that he is not only competent, capable, but excels at drafting players and putting players together, because it's not just about accumulating talent. You can't just accumulate talent and expect to win a championship. It is about fitting the puzzle pieces together.
I think another thing, a good thing that comes out of this, Maz, tell me if I'm wrong, is, we know Sheila Hamm owns the Detroit Lions. A lot of times when someone owns something, we look at them and say, man, this is your company. Whether it's Chad with Woodward Sports and Lady James, you look at, hey, man, it's your company. But Chad, what does he tell us? No, this is our company, but this is what we're figuring out. We're working together. We're trying to get into the new way. We're trying to build this thing together. And I think it goes a long way when your GM, your president, your employees, your clientele feel that it's their team as well. So when Brad Holmes goes there and says, no, Sheila, it's your team. Brad, it's our team. Like, this is our team. It's your team just as much as my team. When you feel like, oh, man, it is my team too, now you really want to protect the interests of the team. Now you really want to make sure that you're bringing in the right people, that you're taking the right chances, you're taking the calculated risk, and then you're also pulling back when you need to. So when Sheila Hamm tells him it's your team just as well as mine, oh, man, now you start to see that synchronicity working.
Overall, I thought this was one of the most, and I mentioned it was a well-done press conference, and I guess what I mean by that is Brad Holmes spoke volumes about where this organization is and what this draft represents to him, what he can do in this draft without saying a damn thing. It was an incredible show, really, of how to get your message across and say nothing. After listening to that today, I have zero idea what the Detroit Lions are going to do.
Take a quarterback.
I have zero idea what the Detroit Lions are going to do in this draft, and I have never felt better about that in my life. It was like a mastery in how to get up there before a podium, in front of a podium, and speak to your fans, speak to the media, say exactly what they want you to say, and not say anything. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely was beautiful, but at the same time, I think we've put him in a position where it's kind of easy too. Like, we've been, if Brad Holmes has been listening to all the outlets in Michigan for the past two and a half months, what have we been saying, Ryan? Hey, look, we all trust Brad Holmes so much. We trust Brad Holmes. We saw what he did in the offseason in terms of the offseason acquisitions that he's made. We trust, you know what? Doesn't even matter. Now, I don't necessarily want this particular position, but because it's Brad Holmes, it doesn't matter. We trust Brad Holmes. When you know you have that, it's kind of people like telling their hand. All the fans have showed their hand that they're undoubtedly entrusted into Brad Holmes. So he can get up there and at that press conference like, hey, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're just going to, whatever we do, we know it's going to be best interest of the Detroit Lions, and we're going to be moving forward.
This is the best position this Lions franchise has ever been in. Can we say that?
Absolutely.
This is a team that's never made a Super Bowl appearance. The only team when the league merged that has not made the Super Bowl besides an expansion team. And there have been expansion teams that have won the Super Bowl already, that have been in the Super Bowl already. The Lions, this is a brand new Lions. When they say that, it is totally a brand new Lions. And everyone on the national stage, they find it out exactly what this guy is all about and what this team is going to be all about moving forward. They're a player, man.
Braylon, one of the things that you just talked about, Brad Holmes has earned the right, really, I think, earned the trust of the fans, the media, whoever, to kind of pick whoever he wants here and people be okay with it because he's got a track record. And it's totally boring I think it's boring for a GM to go up there and talk about the process of evaluating players and the video guys and how much tape everybody's watching and how much preparation people are putting into this whole draft process. But when you do that, you do have a process of evaluating players that does not need to be changed. And it doesn't need to be changed because, as he said today, the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. The guys that we have drafted here to the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes and his staff, they have not only performed, but performed above the capabilities that anybody really thought they... How many people had expectations for Amon-Ra St. Brown? Or...
James Houston,
or Malcolm Rodriguez, or even Aiden Hutchinson dominating the way he was at the end of the year, like
Kirby
he
Joseph.
was. Kirby Joseph is another one. So I think he has earned the right.
Even to a certain extent, the guy that I talk about a lot is how he played in his second year. I could never expect that, and that's Alexander Zaloni. I even got to give him credit.
Perfect example of a guy that you bring in and you help develop within your system. Now he's a veteran guy, but you help develop him within your system, and he improves under you. I just and then you feel good about how you're going about the evaluation of players too. It's like studying for a test. You could study for a test, but if you don't know how to study, you're going to take that test and you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you are evaluating players and you don't know how to evaluate players, it's all meaningless work if it doesn't translate to the field.
Brad Holmes is doing an excellent job right now. I just want to know, what's the next step taken by Brad Holmes? And what I mean by that is looking at draft this year, looking at the season next year. What is the step to where we keep thinking that Brad Holmes is going upward in his trajectory in terms of picking, in terms of player development, or does he get stagnant at some point?
Well, we're going to find out, I think, with this draft because, and Fletch, help me out here. I don't know if you even, and for the audience out there, please forgive us. We are doing the best we can today with the change in the remote and everything. So I'm not sure, Fletch, what you have in terms of Brad Holmes' cuts. I'm not even sure if you know what you have in Brad Holmes' cuts. Okay, you don't. So you have 3 cuts. You don't know what any of the 3 say. So how about this? Let's just play one of them.
Yeah.
I heard the whole thing, so we can generate a conversation from that. Let's do that. Play whatever one you want here, Fletch.
I always tell people all the time, I embrace darkness. I embrace reality. And we're like kind of used to taking the hard road and through the narrow gate. So, you're always going to have to deal with stuff, but, we just deal with it and try to build it the best as we can.
You see his shirt, by the way?
Yeah, it talks about women in sports.
Support girls and women in sports.
Yeah, it was very good. Support women in sports. I actually don't remember what he was referring to when it comes to that one. So give me another one, Fletch.
He came in, he did a nice job, and, again, it's always case by case. Came in, we enjoyed our time with him, did a nice job, and I'll say even after he left his visit, I felt better about him.
Jalen Carter.
Yes. So that's Brad Holmes talking about Jalen Carter's visit.
The one prior to that was him basically telling everyone, we don't know who we're going to take, and I'm okay with that. Embrace the darkness.
Oh, embrace the dark. Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Well, that's what he meant.
Yes.
Speaking of embrace the darkness, somebody's been embracing some workouts. You saw him leaning over the podium. He had a little triangle.
Oh, yeah, he does that for a reason. He did that for a reason.
He's got the black shirt on with the bald head and the beard. He looked a little swole. Brad Holmes started working out.
He did look like that. Guys, let's stick with the Jalen Carter that Brad Holmes just said. Said he came in, had a very nice visit, and even after he left, I felt very good about it. So I think that is a situation, and I don't know, we're all reading into this stuff, right? But it felt to me like there was perhaps a preconceived notion, maybe a red flag. He came in, the young man came in, he visited, he aced the test, so to speak, and Brad Holmes feels very good about that player now.
And I think even afterward, even at that last part, he said, and even after he left, still feel good about it. You don't say something like that for no reason. Like, that's not something you just throw out there. Like, if somebody has a good visit but it wasn't great, this isn't somebody you plan on drafting. And like you said, we're trying to decipher. We're trying to really pull at something. But you say, hey, you know what? The visit went better than expected. We'll see how things play out. Or, hey, you know what? It's a good visit. You keep it like that. He said it was a good visit. even after he left, it still felt good. That means that exactly what you said. He was walking into that meeting thinking one thing. He was walking into that meeting kind of doing his due diligence, as you should, with a player of Jalen Carter's, with his skill level possibly in there at 6. But after the meeting, looks like maybe there's some more decisions to be talked about. That's the one thing about the draft. Those decisions about which players, it changes all the way up into the night before the draft, and maybe even sometimes on game day, depending on the move. So.
Or he's playing a mean game of poker.
There you go.
As always.
Potentially. And
we don't like him. We don't like him.
Let's just say this, though. Let's say he's not, and he does like him. Let's take him at his word there for a minute, okay? Because he did talk about red flags, and I hate that term, red flags. And we're going to talk about it later on with Brady Quinn and Brady Quinn versus. Let's just say that.
I tried to call him this morning.
Yeah, let's say that. Brady Quinn versus, okay? But the term red flags comes up a lot. And there is no blanket. Any organization that has a blanket feeling about what a red flag is, a red flag, if a player has red flags, whatever that means, you take it on a case-by-case basis, exactly what Brad Holmes did. You do your homework on the player. You either feel comfortable about the player or you don't feel comfortable about the player, but you don't have some, blanket, we're not taking any players with any sort of baggage whatsoever. That's just not how you run a successful organization, and it doesn't sound like the Lions are among those organizations that do that.
Yeah, situations differ. There are a lot of deciding factors in situations and why things occur and why things happen. I think a lot of times you got to do your homework. You got to do the necessary due diligence to find out, hey, is this going to affect, his football acumen? Is this going to affect him on the football field? Why did he get into the situation? What's really going on there? So I think when you do that homework, you do that due diligence, sometimes you find out a situation is not as you thought it was. So now you got to put yourself back into a situation where Jalen Carter is a defensive player that could change our trajectory instantaneously. So it's one of those things, man. And now they're in a decision.
More Lions talk, so much coming out from Brad Holmes' press conference today. We'll get more of that to you next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. 27 locations, plenty of places for you to find the next Chili Peppers Tanning. And don't forget, chilipepperstanning.com. If you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D and the best trained tanning professionals. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, chilipepperstanning.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
I just think it was the right time. It was just the right time. And, I think it was good for Jeff. I had a good talk with him, after it was done. And he totally understood it as well.
That was Brett Holmes. He was asked about the trade of Jeff Okudah today. So respectful. Not Jeff Okudah trade today, but he spoke about it today. Okudah to the Atlanta Falcons, and it was handled in a professional manner. And Brett Holmes talked about how much respect he had for everybody down there with the Falcons, and it was a clean transition, and everybody moves on.
I think how you look at that is, I think how you look at that, man. Hey, Remember when we were watching Hard Knocks and you're talking about the wide receiver that dropped a couple passes in that game and they had to let him go and he ended up getting signed by the Giants, but how they let him go was very respectful. And remember what the player said? He said, look, yeah, I know I got to leave, but hey, what you guys are building here, man, I respect it. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. This is the type of person that Brad Holmes is. This is the type of people that Dan Campbell and that coaching staff are. So Jeff Okudah will never have anything negative to say about the Detroit Lions, and at the same time, Brad Holmes, what he's building here and how he talks about players, he wouldn't say anything negative about Jeff Okudah. He would keep it very business and professional-like. And then, with Jeff Okudah, as another player, you can understand the Lions are building so special. It's a place where you might want to come. So, I look at it as this is what you start to look at, man, building that culture where, hey, that's a good organization. They're well-run, top to bottom, as it relates to coaching, as it relates to off-the-field matters, how does it relate to how they take you. All these things, they play into players wanting to be here as free agents.
Hey, they gave him a chance last year.
Yeah.
You know what? He helped them win the game against the Bears with his interception return. I don't want everyone to forget that. And then maybe an injury happened to him. I have no idea. But then he started getting benched. And you kind of knew the writing was on the wall, that Jeff wasn't their kind of guy, wasn't their guy. And both guys are terrific. Jeff Okudah's a terrific kid. And the Lions treated him like a pro. And they traded him to a team that he grew up loving, the Atlanta Falcons.
Go ahead, please.
My part. And that's what I was going to say. I make it small. That's the other thing, too. When you got a franchise that's willing to say, hey, look, it didn't work out here. We're sorry things didn't work, but we're going to move you. But they move you somewhere you want to go. That's another thing, too. Because it have you in part of it, hey, what would you like, what teams say is where would you like to go? If it's somewhere we can make something happen, then we'll move that for you. So the fact that he went somewhere he wanted to go, a team he knew, franchise he liked, in the city he likes, also speaks to Brad Holmes and how cool they are as GMs and front office people.
As the professional athlete of the group, but even if you work at Kroger, and I hate to just throw a random business out there.
There you go.
But the one thing you want is to be treated like an adult.
Yeah.
You want your manager to be honest with you.
Tell me the truth.
You want them to, exactly.
Yeah.
Just tell me the truth. Do I fit in here or don't I?
You're never on time. Thank you. I needed to know that. Thank you.
Right, and I think that's the one thing is we saw in Hard Knocks last year, those coaches, that general manager treated those players like adults because most of them were in those same shoes some years earlier.
Yeah,
that's just the way it works.
It's tough business. Like it's a tough business, and just imagine those guys have to tell countless players, countless. The Turk. Think about the GMs, countless players. They got to tell, hey, it's not working out. We're going to move you. We're going to let you go. Can we just make sure you give me a playbook? Countless times you got to do that. You can become a robot. You can become a guy that is no emotion involved in that because you're seeing that process so much. The fact that these guys care and the fact that you see how they do it says a lot about who they are, man.
There were 4 major takeaways from the Brad Holmes press conference that I noticed and that just kind of piqued my interest in listening to this. And if you don't mind, I just want to go down the line here and just get your take on it. One of which was Brad Holmes said, we can basically do anything we want in this draft. We can pick any player we want. We can pick any position we want. And he didn't want it to come off as, hey, we're set. Our roster is so good, we're set. But his roster is not bound to any one player. His roster is not bound to any one position. He can do whatever he wants in this draft. That is a very powerful place to be.
We keep talking about it. Like, it's the same thing we talk about every day, and the reason why we don't get tired of talking about it because it's a great position, a great spot to be in. He's built this roster up the right way. He's got defensive linemen, and we want him to add one more, but he's got a pretty good defensive line now. He bought the secondary players in. He's got starting secondary players in. He brings in the guy that Maz wanted most. He brings in the guy that arguably is the number 1 free agent in this past free agency, and that was C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Brings that guy in. It's like the things that he's doing, you look at the team, you can't just point to a position outside of interior D lineman and middle linebacker. You can't just point and say, oh, what if these positions are pretty stacked for the most part. I know you want your running back, linebacker, and the interior lineman. Those are the 3 positions now that I think the Detroit Lions need, and outside of that, none.
The Lions are now, they're a regular team now. Whenever you watch the draft and you're like, oh, the 49ers, what the hell do they need? Oh, the Patriots. What do they need? They're just adding on talent.
Grab a guard somewhere.
Yeah. The Lions were always stripped down. Oh, God. If we take him, we still have 5 other positions we need to fill.
No.
That's done. You have an NFL team, an NFL quality team for the first time in a long, long time. It feels great to be a Lion fan now. I don't have to walk with my head down when I'm wearing my Lion gear now. Like, especially when I'm in New Jersey, they're like, what the hell are you wearing? You're a Lion fan?
Yeah.
I had to tell them, I live in Detroit now, and hell yeah, I'm a Lions fan.
Just think about the Seattle Seahawks. I'll phrase it like that. Seattle Seahawks is another team that are going in the right direction. Got a hell of a draft last year, just like the Lions, and they got a quarterback in Geno Smith to do something last year, comeback player of the year, and they win they go to a playoff game. But their whole defensive line stinks. Like, they need defensive line players. They're trying to figure out what they really are going to do with Geno Smith at quarterback. They don't have a safety. They brought Bobby Wagner back to probably draft the understudy at linebacker and then go that way. But they really, really need players. They really, really need to build a defensive line. We already have the pieces of a defensive line put together in a pretty good way. Offensive line is together. So I just look at it like that. Like, look how good the Seattle Seahawks are. And look how much there still are behind the Detroit Lions, who didn't make the playoffs last year.
The Detroit Lions can go out there tomorrow, play a football game, and feel good about it.
And compete.
And they have 5 of the top 81 players that will come to Detroit. Maybe 4 or maybe 3. We have no idea. But when you have that kind of draft capital, you can
swing and
do
miss
whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can trade up, you can trade back, you can acquire more picks, you can get a great player. You don't need 5 starters on this team. You don't need 4 starters on this team. You really don't. You can do whatever you want.
Here's what's going to be interesting. What's the Lions' grade going to be after this draft? And Brad Holmes, the reason why I asked that. Right now, you just mentioned you got 5 of the top 81. Like, you got 5 of the top 81 players. So it seems like an easy draft to a certain extent. Say, oh, it doesn't matter. Take the best available player at 6, 18, maybe move up, do something like that. What is his grade going to be? Because I think this grade, which is interesting, this grade could be the most important grade of Brad Holmes' tenure so far. First time, second time, I think it's this one because of how, well, it doesn't matter what you do. When people say it doesn't matter what you do, that's a lie. Because if you make some bad picks, then it matters what you did. So I think this is going to be an interesting one for Brad Holmes.
What would you pay to be in that war room on draft day?
I'd pay anything.
I mean, really.
Honestly,
how exciting.
Can you imagine if you put, you know, there's all these auctions, like summertime will be auctions. I was with somebody yesterday that talked about auction items and stuff like that. Can you imagine putting up for auction the ability to sit in an NFL draft room on draft night?
Jeez.
How much money that would go for?
Ooh.
It would be priceless.
I mean, it would be priceless. Hey, I want to acknowledge the Control-Alt-Geek finally catching you guys live. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Control-Alt-Geek, welcome.
Control-Alt-Geek, welcome to the show. Thanks for finding us live. Tell a friend about us. Hopefully you liked what you saw on the clips enough to find us during the live portion, and we can't thank you enough for doing that.
Button.
Absolutely. If you are watching on YouTube, over 600 live viewers right now, hit that like button. See if we can go to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. That is great stuff, and I just wanted to acknowledge that because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to get to do what we do here.
Hey, right. Can I mention something that I kind of took a little bit? And I've been listening. I've been paying attention here. Jameson Williams. I just want to put his name out there. He was thrown out there today in the press conference. Hey, what about J-Mo? What did Brad Holmes say?
That's a big topic, man. That's a big topic.
What did he say?
So I guess we'll go there now. So I did want to talk about Jameson Williams carefully. It is interesting if you go back to a couple of months ago when Brad Holmes talked about Jameson Williams and he had to put the work in. He was doing good, but he had to put the work in. That did not seem like a player that you I don't want to say feel good about. I'm a little thrown off here, Maz, just because I played it out in my head how I wanted to do that differently.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Then why do you hold off then?
Well, I do want to hold off because I want to choose my words carefully on that.
All right.
I do want to choose my words carefully on that because
I felt the same way you did a couple of months back.
I'm not going to crap on a player and have my words be misconstrued about it. So I do want to hold off on that if I could. Maybe to the next segment or something at the very least, because you threw me off on that. That's okay.
Because
I do think it is worth conversation. I do think it's worth a conversation. I want to characterize it the proper way and not off the cuff. Let me say that. How do I want to go about this now? You know what? Let me take a break. We'll come back, talk about Jameson Williams. We'll do that next. But first, and then I'll get to the other two things that I thought were big newsers as well. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you look at that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people. That can only mean one thing. You are protected by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, it's Strawberry Fest at Big Boy. That's right. It's that time of the year, folks. Get on down there and try it out. Especially start with breakfast. The breakfast items, the strawberry hot cakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. How about some lunch or dinner? The strawberry bacon chicken wrap. Cool off with refreshing summer splash salad. And never forget, it's always dessert at Big Boy, including their berry delicious strawberry pie, the deep fried vanilla Oreos, or the strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at your local Big Boy.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch here. Bit of a pivot as we were supposed to be at Dispo, the dispensary in Romeo today, but the skies opened up and totally wiped us out. So we've got half of our crew there, half of our crew here. We raced back to the studio to get a show done, and if you would bear with us, we're doing the best we can today. We don't have JB or anybody in audio right now. We've just got our mics totally up, so you may catch something during a commercial break that you wouldn't normally catch. You've got no music on the show today, so we're just kind of going along with it. We hope you will bear with us today. We're doing the best.
We're going to head out to Dispo a little bit later and talk to the guys there.
Oh, great. That'd be great.
We can at least say thank you and
that'd be
allowing
great.
us to be a part of 420 Day.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna be a part of 420. Ain't gonna be at Dispo.
Hey, so the reason why I wanted to do it this way when it comes to Jameson Williams is because I think that words matter, and I am not trying to be a clickbait person here, and without thinking it through, I didn't want to say anything that I would regret immediately or be mischaracterized in what I'm about to say. But I do think it is worth pointing out that Jameson Williams, there's a lot expected of him. This is a young man where the Detroit Lions traded up to get him. They believe he is a superstar player on the field. And so, as you can imagine, when Brad Holmes spoke about him some months ago and said, Jameson is on the right track, but he's got to put the work in. That seemed to be a little bit of a
red flag.
I hate that word, red flag. Okay, it just seemed to be something you're unhappy with. Okay? It wasn't like, oh man, he's putting in all the work. This guy's going to be great for us. This guy is doing everything we've asked him to do. He didn't say that. So you're left to read between the lines. So it was asked to Brad Holmes today, where's Jameson Williams? He seems to be not here. And even though it's voluntary, he seems to be one of the guys that's not here. And Brad Holmes simply said he was here yesterday. And that's it. Not like I'm asking you if, hey, remember a couple of months ago you said that Jameson Williams had to put in the work and then he's not here today. If he was doing, this is Ryan Ermanni talking now, if he was doing all of the things that you believe he needs to do, wouldn't you shut that down right now? Wouldn't you shut that down right now and say, look, he's not here. It's voluntary. He's putting the work in. He's doing everything we asked. He simply looked at the reporter. I don't remember who the reporter was, and said he was here yesterday and moved on. I don't think, look, we get paid to give our opinions. That does not seem to be a player that the organization is happy with, in my opinion, based on those comments twice now.
Bray, before you get going, remember how Baltimore handled the Lamar Jackson thing?
I don't know.
Is Lamar going to play?
I don't know.
In the playoffs?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Everything was I don't know. How's he doing in his rehab? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Bray.
All I'm going to say is this. The Detroit Lions, everything you talk about Detroit Lions is all positive. It's positive.
Yes.
And I think we're so used to talking negatively about the Detroit Lions. The fact that it's all positive, the fact that there are no, oh man, what about this move? Well, I can't believe we're on the hook for this. Or I can't believe they got rid of this person. Oh, can you believe this? Like, should this person still be the coach? Do we have a quarterback? Like, everything is positive conversation. Oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to do in the draft? Well, we all said they're going to do good things. We all believe they're going to do good things. So I think this is just people prying for something. You're prying for something to talk about that isn't negativity. The man said, and I quote, he was here yesterday. To me, that's the next question. It's the next question up. Jameson Williams is an individual who got drafted last year. He got hurt in the national championship game in January. He basically has been rehabbing surgically and getting prepared to play in the NFL for the better part of last year. Because even last year during the season, he still was rehabbing and getting ready. And then they got him in. They inserted him in December, scores a touchdown, a couple plays, the call back because of penalties, but he still was there. At the end of the day, this man has been going through rehab process. He has been going through questions on, should he have been the pick at 12? Should they have given up that haul, which they didn't give up a haul, by the way, to move up to 12 to get Jameson Williams, a player that was injured. So he's been dealing with that, reading that, and seeing that for the better part of a year now, and we're still at it. A year plus, if you will. So I just look at it as, hey, the guy is here. The guy was here. That's what Brad Holmes said. He's done what he's supposed to do for the most part, and he'll be fine this season. Like, Jameson Williams will be fine. I think this is just us looking for something to pull at, because everything right now is sunshine and rainbows. Like, there is nothing to pull at. So I think this is us trying to find something to pull at.
Well, the chat's with you, Bray. They say we're making something out of nothing there. Also, they're saying, he said just what he said. He was here yesterday. That's the end of it. We're making something out of nothing, Ryan. That's what the chat says.
And look,
but they're the same people that are picking Aaron Rodgers over Jared Goff over Aaron Rodgers.
I don't look. Everybody's got their opinion.
No, I'm just saying.
I know everybody's got their opinion. I don't believe this organization is totally happy with Jameson Williams. I just don't believe it. Here's the quote from earlier this year. We're just going to continue to do everything that we need to do to make sure that he's set up to succeed. Jameson also has to hold up his part and make sure he's doing everything he needs to do. So it's always an accountability factor on both sides. But we expect big things from him. He's got rare talent, rare ability. He's got a serious passion for the game. We expect big things from him. But obviously, we've got to do both our parts to make sure he's successful. That was some months ago. And that's what the follow-up question was in regards to today. I just wanted to be clear about where and why I was going where I was going.
But when we listen to Brad Holmes talk, like, doesn't he always give you political answers? Like, doesn't he always give you kind of like talk a lot and not really say anything? Doesn't he really always kind of give you, hey, Jameson Williams, hey, look, he's got to do his part, much like we've got to do our part. We're going to put everything in front of him, and I think he's going to have a great career. But he has to be accountable like we have to be accountable. It just sounds like a typical Brad Holmes answer.
Yes, but I can't think of a time where Brad Holmes has referenced a player on the Detroit Lions, and if you would like to please Google it, go for it, where he has named another player and said they need to do their part. I just don't. If he has talked about an individual player in that manner, I apologize and I will retract what I said earlier. I don't believe he has said that about an individual player, that they have to do their part. Not talking about a team or a group, talking about an individual player.
If I bought a Corvette, a
Corvette,
yeah. If I bought a Corvette, and you ask me, hey Maz, how's your car? It starts. That's his toy, Jameson Williams. He traded up, made a splash. That's his guy. That's where he's going to really shock the NFL. Yeah, I went up and I got the best receiver in the game. And then someone's going to ask him, how's Jameson Williams? He got here yesterday. He's not talking about him because I think he's pissed. That's my opinion.
Or because there's nothing to talk about. You guys want there to be something wrong. You want there to be something.
No, I know that's not true. You can't say. I'm not going to let you say that.
Okay, well, hold on.
Because I don't want that.
Then stop talking about it. You're talking about a guy that's clearly working out. Just like you say he has the best poker hand. What if this is a part of poker? What if this is not telling the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, oh man, Jameson Williams is killing it.
Does he need to let it fire?
Jameson Williams is, he's doing everything.
He scored touchdowns last year. Everyone saw
he scored one touchdown. I get that, but I'm saying, what if he comes into this seat, he scored 1-1, got called back? Like, what if he's like, yo, he's killing him right now. He's faster than he's ever been. We like what we see and the way in which he can train. Now when you're going into a season, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, if I'm the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and who else they play, now I really got to be ready for Jameson Williams. But if you're telling me this stuff like, well, and he's got to do his part and we got to do our part, you're not necessarily going into the looking at film on Jameson Williams and be like, he's going to be this or he's going to be that guy. We really need to have a package in play. You still wins by not doing your homework, and this could be a way for him to get guys to not do the homework.
You see him step on the field one time last year. You see how fast he is. You see what he can do on the field.
He's been fast since high school, though. Yeah. But can you do it in the NFL?
But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is like the NFL draft where a player is available and you have to worry about shying how good a player is from other teams. I don't know. I've seen Brad Holmes before, and look, I'm a Lions season ticket holder. I want this guy to friggin' be the best receiver in the game.
Brad Holmes has been here 2.5 years, and this is the first time he's talked for a consistent period of time about an injured player. An injured player.
Says the same thing about Josh Pascal, by the way. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
said the same. Talked about Josh Pascal and Levi Onwuzurike today. Those were injured players that came along. Look, I've seen Brad Holmes talk about players before. Individual players.
Brad Holmes hasn't been here for 10 years. It's not like we have a vetted system of a guy that's been here 10 years and we're like, hey, well, remember 8 years ago.
You don't know Brad Holmes at this point, 3 years in?
I know he doesn't say much.
I've seen him talk about players and smile, that big smile that he gets. I've seen Brad Holmes. I'm not trying to make something of nothing. I just don't think, it's my opinion that there is something there that they maybe need to light a fire or something. I could be wrong. What do you think? And obviously, if you think I'm reaching, I mean, the chat is with you, Bray. The chat is with you.
Because there's no real thing that we're throwing out there to where I can be like, I could kind of see it. Like, all I'm getting from you two is the one conversation where he says he's got to be accountable just like we've got to be accountable. And then today, he was here yesterday. That's not enough for me to draw some conclusion that there's smoke where there's fire.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to be careful with my words.
You're a smart man.
I'm not. That's exactly why I wanted to be careful with my words, because maybe I could be wrong, but at the same time, I've heard Brad Holmes talk enough where I don't think he's totally thrilled with the player or the work that he has put in.
That could be the case. I could see that. I'm man enough to back up and say I can see that. I just particularly don't. I think maybe it's a little more him just being Brad Holmes.
Fair enough. I want to get to two other things that I noticed in this press conference today. Both good, by the way. Look, it's all good right now.
It is.
It is all good right now.
Yeah.
And one in which revolves around a quarterback at 6. Brad Holmes addressed it, and you might be surprised what he said. I'll tell you about that. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Custom Health Centers, that's right. Are you feeling tired? You feeling depressed, unmotivated, low sex drive, muscle loss, or belly fat? Testosterone optimization therapy is a safe and effective way to restore your vitality, confidence, and performance, and reduce heart disease. Visit CustomHealthCenters.com today, CustomHealthCenters.com, or you can call 877-965-0910. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Sure, you got a question.
You okay, Fletch? What happened there?
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5.
Told people it's going to be up.
ChiliPeppersTraining.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch as well. It is the top of the hour again. Just want to give you a little bit of sense of what's been going on today. We were out there. The whole team was out in Romeo today at Dispo Dispensary for.
We should probably put the Dispo logo up behind us, right?
Maybe 420.
Yeah, why don't we put it up there
for 420?
If we have one.
Yeah, I don't know if we have one or not because we were supposed to be out there today.
We're going to check in there soon.
Absolutely, in honor of 420. The skies opened up. It was pouring, so they scrapped the live remote. So we raced back here to the studio. I got here 90 seconds before the show started, and it's just been kind of discombobulated a little bit. We don't have any music. We don't have any audio, so you may hear some things.
And you got Fletch going back and forth. Like Fletcher's doing both.
Right.
He's doing both jobs right now.
Exactly. You may hear the mic's open during the break, so we're going to try not to cuss. I forgot the mics were open, and I did cuss during the breaks, but it is what it is. Lots of Lions news today, guys, because Brad Holmes had about a 35-minute media session, and overall, I mean, everything was very positive. And one of the things that we have talked about a lot is that the Lions really don't have many holes. So they could go any direction with the number 6 pick. Can you believe it? We've been talking about this draft for about 4 or 5 months, and here we go. Yeah. It is 1 week from tonight, and we'll be at Fifth Avenue, by the way, in Royal Oak for that draft night special, the entire Woodward Sports team. So come out and join us. But we talk about quarterbacks a lot, Braylon. Brad Holmes said today, anytime you pick in the top 10, you have to do your homework on the quarterbacks, and we've done that. And it is just so intriguing what it's going to have. He talked about mock drafts, and he's like, there's always a surprise, but he laughed about the mock drafts. And he appreciated them, though. He's like, hey, you all have jobs, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get it, and I appreciate it, and all that stuff. But he did reference the quarterback at number 6, and it is a possibility. I thought it was a great poker hand that he played there, talking about the available quarterbacks. But we talked about this with Burkett months ago. This would be the 5th consecutive year the Lions have a top 10 pick. And
that just sounds horrible.
If they wouldn't have come away with their quarterback at any point, that's a tough pill to swallow if they don't go quarterback at 6. Or is it not?
I don't think it is, because I think we keep trying to place that stigma on the pick. Like, man, if you don't get your first-round quarterback, and if you don't have that 5th-year option, and, man, that means that you can't really maneuver and move the way you want to. I mean, it's been proven that is a really good way. But at the same time, it's been proven you can pick up quarterbacks in the offseason other ways. I mean, Jared Goff, if he's the guy, that keeps the conversation going, et cetera. So I don't think you necessarily have to draft at 6 if a quarterback is there just to say you got a quarterback in that 5-year period. But if Jared Goff doesn't end up being the end-all, be-all, and then you're looking for a quarterback next year and you can't find one, or after that, and then you got guys like, man, you had that draft. Man, you had Tua. Man, you had Justin Herbert. Man, you had Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. Please not Will Levis, although he was in New England today. We'll talk about that. But I can understand that if it just all falls. If it all falters on the offensive side because of that position. But at the same time, this is a new NFL. It looks new. The way they do off-season moves, the way in which they do future projected first-round picks, and the way that they move money around, the way that they move situations around. This is a new NFL. It is a new landscape in the off-season. So I don't necessarily think you have to get that quarterback anymore, especially when your team is constructed the way the Lions team is.
You know where I stand. If Jalen Carter or Will Anderson ain't there, I'm taking my quarterback at 6 this year, because to me, is a free pick.
What if it's Will Levis,
I'll take
though?
him.
You will.
Yeah.
Well, why would you
that's
take
the
Will?
one guy I wouldn't take for whatever reason. I just don't like
First
him.
of all,
But
we
I'm not
don't
the
really know
quarterback.
about any of them.
Yeah, right. I'm not the
What'd you
quarterback
watch,
evaluator.
2 games of Will Levis?
I'm not the
Well,
quarterback
actually,
evaluator.
I watch more than one. That's what YouTube is for. You can watch sped-up version. You can watch a whole game in 9 minutes. You should try it. It's basically I watch most games unless it's Michigan. But when you watch Will Levis, he was decent 2 seasons ago, but he's okay. Usually when you watch a quarterback, you're talking about a first-round quarterback, a top 10 guy that can come in and change your franchise. You don't have to. That person doesn't have to look exactly ready. That person doesn't have to be perfection, because when you come into the league, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to grow the things you'll learn. But you at least see a guy make plays. You see a guy make a team better. Even that team there where you're like, well, they don't really have much. Well, if you're telling me this guy should be a top 5 quarterback, then he should make not much look like something. He should make a couple plays where you're like, I like this guy. All I see is a big arm. He's a 6'5" guy. He looks like the All-American guy. He's swole. He's jacked. Arm is huge. But when I watch the film, I can't tell you those plays or a play where I'm like, okay, I see it there. You're telling me the 6th pick overall, I want to at least see a player that has made a player better, made some throws, even Anthony Richardson. He doesn't have a ton of film, but even with him, I'm seeing some players where I'm like, ooh.
Levis feels like the Malik Willis.
Right place, right time.
No, Levis feels like the Malik Willis.
Do you know
of
he's
this
the
draft
favorite right now at BetMGM to be picked 2nd?
Caesars.
Really?
Caesars.
Second over C.J. Stroud and.
I'm just saying there are other teams that like him, so the Lions might like him. Probably not though. But they might.
Yeah, the guy that continues to fall to the Lions lately is Tyree Wilson, and for whatever reason, he just doesn't do it for me.
I think it's gonna be 1 or 2 players. If I'm being honest, I think it's gonna be 1 or 2 players drafted to the Lions.
Tyree Wilson or
Christian Gonzalez.
Really?
I really think it's gonna be Tyree Wilson, because now the more and more I'm hearing about Tyree Wilson, I was listening to Joe Klett talk to Colin Cowherd. They are in love. Teams are in love with Tyree Wilson because of his size, because of his long arms, his long ability. He can play inside and outside. And because there's so much untapped raw potential with Tyree Wilson, they're talking about because he doesn't know moves right now. They said once he learns the moves and learns how to use his body, kind of like you saw Aiden last year, They said even that takes his ceiling to another level. So that's why people like Tyree Wilson a lot. Now, as it relates to Christian Gonzalez, his measurables, it's like add his measurables to Sauce Gardner. Like Sauce Gardner, we saw his skill. Like his measurables, like Christian Gonzalez is way faster than Sauce Gardner. He's bigger than Sauce Gardner. He's stronger than Sauce Gardner. He jumps higher than Sauce Gardner. And when you put that Colorado and that Oregon tape on, his tape looks amazing too.
Let me say this about Levis. I in no way, shape, or form feel like Levis is going to fall to the third round like Willis did.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all. Like,
he won't get
like
out.
For instance, Doughboy Steve says, no, Ryan, AR-15 is Willis 2.0. Anthony Richardson won't make it past the top 6, let alone the third round. Yeah. If he does, he certainly won't make it past the top 10. There's no way Anthony Richardson is not going to get drafted inside the top 10.
Won't get past Seattle.
He may be a bust, but that's not Malik Willis. Malik Willis totally fell out of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
No quarter. That's not happening to any
Teams
of the
do.
top 5 quarterbacks. Teams
do.
And that's... Yeah, I want to get to that.
I would just say this. If Levis doesn't go to the Colts, he's in trouble. I will say that. If Levis does not go to the Colts at 4, then he's in trouble.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And he just might be. The last thing that stood out to me, too, in the Brad Holmes press conference today was he talked about taking injured players. Hasn't had much success with Josh Paschal or Levi Onwuzurike or Jameson Williams.
Mitchell.
Tight end. That's right. Totally forgot about him. Brad Holmes did address Onwuzurike and Paschal today, saying they're both looking really good and both looking healthy. So that's great news for this defensive
He didn't
front.
say they were there?
He did not say
didn't
anything
say
about
they
whether
just
they
got
were
there?
in attendance or not.
Okay.
He did not say whether or not they were in attendance. But
sometimes people have things to do. Like
Right.
this stuff is involuntary. Basically, voluntary. Like involuntary goes all the way up until May. And I think what happens is once the draft happens, then that following week is when you start voluntary workouts. That's when everybody has to be here. So you're talking another 10 plus days in which they don't technically have to be here. So we don't know if he's getting married. We don't know if he's partying in an island somewhere. But you don't have to be here for about another 10 days.
Right, but he did talk about taking injured players. And he's like, look, we can't control whether we pick an injured guy and then he gets hurt again, as was the case with Paschal, and was out all year. They did not anticipate Paschal getting hurt after they drafted him because he had an injury. Right. And then he got hurt.
I'm waiting for one of you to crack that smart-ass comment.
Well, I'm going to go back to the Tannenbaum.
Exactly.
Tannenbaum says an injured player in college is an injured player in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. That's what he said in regards of, because he could not believe that the Houston Texans took Derek Stingley Jr. over Sauce Gardner, and position for position, the same position with not a lot of margin in the grade. You take the healthy player.
You're absolutely, and I agree with you guys on that 100%. Like Maz brings it up all the time, and I actually agree with Maz. Like you take the healthy player over the injured player, because one of the things that worked for me in my favor when I came out in the draft, I didn't get hurt in Michigan at all, and I played 4 years. I think I had a turf toe going into my, training camp going to my senior year, and I had like a little nick on my shoulder, but nothing crazy. When I went to, they make you go to the hospital at the combine. Like my documents and my form, my photo, it was this thin. And it had like 3 lines on it. So I was so quick over there. So then that was one of the things that people kept talking about. Like, when I would go into these meetings, say, "You never been injured, huh?" Like it kept coming up. Man, those guys going there with those folders that about 19 times thicker than this and that.
The thinner the folder, the better.
100%. You're in, you're out. Because they want guys that are like, hey, you know what? Guy hasn't been injured. Guy, 4 years durability. So there is something to drafting healthy players, especially over injured players. But sometimes you just gotta take that chance, and that's what Jameson was. That was that chance.
And Paschal, when he did play, he showed. I mean, he's got some burst. He's got some stuff in him. I just hope that he will get healthy and become that player Brad Holmes thinks. As Onwuzurike's got a back injury, I'm not counting on.
Yeah, I'm not counting on Onwuzurike, but I am counting on Paschal, and I think Paschal is and can be a difference maker in this draft, minus the injury. And I know anytime you say injury, it's one way or the other. But minus the injury, Josh Paschal was a first-round pick. You essentially got a free first-round pick last year as an injured player in Pascal. If he can come back healthy, you've got a player that can help you immensely.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things that you look at for Brown. Talk about who's been so good at drafting, so good even in the latter draft. Pascal's a second-round pick. So you'll look at, in the 2022 draft, you'll look at that second round and you'll see who has success. If Pascal doesn't have success and if he gets cut, if he doesn't make it in the next year and a half, that could be a stain to the record. Because there were some players in that draft last year in the second round that we passed on for Pascal.
No doubt about it. Is there an injured player this year out there? I mean, other than Hendon Hooker?
He's the one.
Is Hendon Hooker the injured player this year that would have been in the discussion with these top 4 quarterbacks? I got another one for you. Where would Hooker be ranked in these quarterbacks if it wasn't for the injury?
Wouldn't be a Will Levis, and he'd be ahead of Anthony Richardson. I think he would.
Would he be above C.J. Stroud?
I think so. If he wouldn't have got injured. Because at the time that he got injured, that was going to be their first loss. There was a loss to Georgia.
Yep.
So one loss with that Tennessee record and them beating Alabama, he still would have had a chance to win the Heisman.
Yep.
So you're talking about winning the Heisman and that effective. The one thing people knock is that system that he had out there. Josh Heupel's system it's an interesting system. So he's going to have to learn. But I think he would have ended up being one. He would have been
Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think his age still comes up.
Maybe.
Yeah, but he's 20. He'll be 25 when
27. No, 25.
25 when the season.
I always say 27 because ACL 2 years, 27-year-old starter.
But not at a quarterback though. Yeah. Like this isn't a Jameson Williams where we need him planting and cutting. And he's not a quarterback. That's Lamar Jackson.
Right.
He's a quarterback that has the ability to be mobile to get out of a situation, but he's not getting out of the pocket to take off for 70. So he comes back faster as a quarterback. Carson Palmer tore his ACL in the playoffs against the Steelers when he was with the Cincinnati Bengals in January. He and I both tore our ACLs that year. We both started the very next season, the very first game. So you can come back as a quarterback, as a pocket passing quarterback, but probably 3 behind C.J. Stroud, or maybe 2 if he wins the Heisman.
I think he's worth a. I think he's
18.
worth a flyer. Why not?
There is a hurt player that's losing steam, like you said, because of the injury. But his happened way earlier. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba was the best receiver. He was the best receiver in college football after
Jameson.
Exactly.
Maybe.
He was the best receiver in college football. People forget how good he was that year. Garrett Wilson won Offensive Player of the Year. Chris Olave had 1,100 yards last year on his freshman campaign. Yeah. After the season their last season at Jacksonville, they both said he was a better receiver and a better player than them. These are 2 first-round picks, and one guy goes on to be the Offensive Player of the Year. So I think people are forgetting about him because of the hamstring, because he didn't play, because out of sight, out of mind. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the guy that if he was out, or if people knew, he would have been higher up. You've been talking about him in the top 7 picks. And maybe he's the dark horse to still go high this year.
No doubt about it. Guys, coming up, we're talking about quarterbacks, Braylon. C.J. Stroud, and that conversation is in the news a lot with your former quarterback, guy that's joined the show many times, Brady Quinn versus the world today. We'll tell you all about that next. I want to show you a picture. Thanks, Fletch, for getting this. Last night I went to Fairway Packing Company, the steak shop on Mac. The big guy, Emmett Barada right there, baby. Family owned and operated since 1956. He says to hell with it. Let's break out some steaks. Let's break out the grill. Let's cook them right here. That is a tomahawk steak. A Wagyu strip right there. Are you kidding me? We got after it. We got to get there, Braylon Edwards.
I live on the wrong side of town.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you about Fairway Packing Company, my friends. Are you kidding me? Family owned and operated. This family began this company back in 1956, and they are characters, man. It is so great to walk in that place, grab your steaks. You walk in, and the vacuum sealed individual steaks. This place services some of the best restaurants in Metro Detroit. And maybe you feel intimidated. Maybe you don't want to go spend $400 or $500 a night at some of these restaurants. You can eat like a king. You can just go into that steak shop and buy that steak and make it yourself right there in your home. That's a way to elevate your dinner. You pull out those grills on a great weekend or an evening night. My goodness, this is the way to do it. The meat is fantastic. The family is even better. Call him today, 313-332-5114, 313-332-5114, or hit him up. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. They ship anywhere. You can order online or walk into their steak shop where I was last night in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logo merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch as well hustling over there. We apologize. We don't have an audio person today. We're supposed to be at Dispo Dispensary in Romeo.
Heavyweights are going to be there.
Heavyweights are going to be there. The skies opened up on us, and the decision was made to kind of get out of there for our show and come back to the studio. But the heavyweights will be out there, 32 Mile Road on 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Dispensary is the place to be today if you want to catch the heavyweights.
You sure? I just want Chris walk in.
He might be back here today. You never know.
It's the heavyweight show.
Yeah. Guys, did you see what's been going on online between Brady, Quinn, and everybody else? I mean,
it started with Ryan Clark.
It started with It started with Brady Quinn saying what he said, and then Ryan Clark addressed it. So
we mentioned it yesterday. The tweet that Brady put out that CJ missed the Peyton Manning quarterback camp. He said he ghosted him.
Okay.
And then it goes from there.
Yeah. So C.J. Stroud never committed to attend the Manning camp. He chose to work with his teammates at Ohio State instead of his final season. He wasn't paid to go. And furthermore, Brady Quinn, what does acquiescing to the Manning family have to do with leading an organization? Oh, that's tough, man. This is an example of an analyst like Brady Quinn telling stories of zero value to diminish a man's character while validating his own. Instead of dissecting film or speaking to coaches as an adult man, stop to gossip while analyzing. It's an immature evaluation of football integrity. That is extremely harsh. That is extremely harsh criticism. Brady Quinn responds, this is also an example of an analyst not doing his homework. There was no shot taken at his character, and clearly you don't know me, my work ethic, or integrity. Maybe do the work and listen to the podcast before you start making claims. And this has gone back and forth. RG3 went at him. Who's the Jalen Ramsey went at Brady Quinn. Braylon, I will defer to you on this first. Brady Quinn is a friend of yours. He's been on the show. What do you make of this?
This is a tough spot. Once again, here we go. Black versus white.
Why has it got to be that?
It's not me. No. It's not. But
is that what you think that is?
Yes, I'm telling that. Like that's the undertone. Mm-hmm. Like whenever you see Ryan Clark, they bring him on ESPN. A lot of the segments they do, it focus on black and white.
True.
It focus on.
You're right.
It focus on the black side of the Lamar Jackson situation. It focusing on it's the LSU situation with.
You're totally right about this.
It's like so, and I'm not saying for our show, but I'm saying soon as you see an analyst and I see one's white, I see one's black, I know what's coming from Twitter. I know what's coming from the story. So I'm finding this out at the same time. I know Brady. Brady ain't cut like that. Like I speak at my friendship, my brotherhood. Brady's not cut like that. Brady is not cut like that as an individual. Is trying to take shots just to demean C.J. Stroud so his draft stocks falls and maybe Will Levis's draft stock goes up. Like, Brady's not that type of guy, 1,000%. Ryan Clark is another individual that does a lot of homework. He takes a lot of shots. And I think in this situation, I think Ryan Clark is majority wrong, and I think Brady also, he didn't have to say the part about, oh, well, yeah, and also he stiffed the camp and blah, blah, blah. There was no need for the story to a certain extent. But I think Ryan Clark might have went too hard in the situation. I think you got other guys now coming at it from the standpoint that it wasn't from, if that makes sense. I'm still trying to find my words.
It absolutely makes sense. And let me see if I can kind of go along the lines here. I think if Ryan Clark wasn't in this business, I would accept that.
Yeah.
I would accept that criticism of Brady Quinn if Ryan Clark wasn't in this business.
I got you. Yeah.
But because Ryan Clark is in this business, if you're going to attack somebody in this business, we all, when we get paid for a living, we have people telling us things. Now, those things may not be true, but it is true to the best of their knowledge.
Yeah.
Hey, Braylon, to the best of my knowledge, or Braylon, I got this guy on the inside of the Lions organization, and he told me that they're not happy with Jameson Williams.
How many times have I disagreed with you guys?
No. Exactly. So what I'm saying is that's how this happens.
Yeah.
So Braylon Edwards comes out and says, well, the Lions, I kind of heard that they weren't happy with Jameson, or I don't want to use a real player.
Right.
With player
John Smith.
There you go. With player John Smith. That's how this happens. Ryan Clark has been wrong before. Brady Quinn has been wrong. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Every single person in this business who has been in this job has been wrong. And I'm not even saying that Brady Quinn was wrong in this respect.
Right.
We don't know what he was told. We don't know what the commitment was to the Manning family, the pet, whatever it was.
We haven't even heard from them.
I don't even know.
Why is that? Why are they the family we haven't heard from?
Right.
And they haven't said anything.
Exactly. And they probably won't.
Because they're smart.
It does nothing for the Mannings to come out and say, yes, C.J. Stroud committed to us, and then all of a sudden the night before we never heard from him. It does nothing to do with that. But if for Ryan Clark, for Jalen Ramsey, a current player, to talk to Brady Quinn like that, totally fine with it. Because he's not in an analyst's shoes. He doesn't
stand the game.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, and he doesn't know how it works, really. You don't know how it works until you're in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be a professional athlete, but I know what it's like to sit up here and talk for 10 hours a week and have conversations off the microphone that you bring to the microphone. And you know what? That's how it works. And I don't think he was trying to if you listen to what he actually said about C.J. Stroud, man, this is one of the most overblown things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I don't want to say I sourbury on this. I could just say from what was alleged or what the intent was, what it seemed like the underlying intent was, that's BS as it relates to my man Brady. Ryan Clark is an excellent analyst. He's an excellent journalist. I've seen a lot of the interviews he's done. He's done some amazing things in his short career. I mean, it's been 10 years or so, but he's done a lot of great work. This just right here, it just wasn't one of them. It just wasn't one of them. And I understand that in this business, especially as black analysts, we get a little sensitive as it relates to the black quarterback. I can admit that. As black analysts, we get sensitive about the black quarterback because he's been so, such a pariah for years and years. Now it's to the point where, like Matt said, we're doing really well. I think sometimes that sensitivity is still there, and I think you jump before, and then once you jump, now RG3 jumps, and now a bunch of other people jump, and now it's not fair to Brady Quinn.
That's brilliant.
I just think Brady brought it up because they were asking him, why is C.J. Stroud all of a sudden dropping? And I think that's why he brought that up. That's all.
Yeah, and he was, and it was wrong, and it was wrong. Not of.
Because he covers the college game.
Not of Brady.
Really well.
Yeah, he does. That's
more than Ryan Clark, more than RG3, more than those guys.
100%.
That's his game. His game is the college game.
And that's what I said on his team. At the same time, that's why I said it's majority of Ryan's fault, a little bit of Brady's, a little bit. He could have found a better answer for why he's dropping and missing the Manning camp.
Yeah,
it's a small thing, and it shouldn't have got the backlash that it got. But it's a small thing. He didn't have to.
Well, again, we talk about Jameson Williams, right?
Yeah.
We just talked about Jameson Williams. And if you have a respectful conversation, I'm willing to admit I could be wrong on that. That's like it's an opinion. I could be totally wrong on that. I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I don't want to crap on something that I really don't know. It's just an opinion. I really don't know. But I feel like stories like this, and now C.J. Stroud is coming, the talk surrounding C.J. Stroud comes up in maybe a negative way about, is he, did he lack a commitment or not show up to a commitment to the Mannings or whatever. If Ryan Clark doesn't say anything, nobody ever hears about this, really. Is it even a story?
No, it's not. At the same time, Ryan, if you're Brady Quinn and someone in passing, you guys are sitting there talking about some quarterback situation, like, man, this CJ Stroud situation is crazy. He's drop off. And he's like, yeah, man, I heard it was something to do with the Manning camp. He was supposed to be committed to a Manning camp, supposed to go out there, and he's not playing, and maybe him not going out there is him not wanting to show or throw again or blah, blah, blah. Like, if someone tells you that doesn't even sound like something that I'm going to use as an answer when I get asked, why is C.J. Stroud dropping?
No, but I'd like to believe that Brady Quinn, and I like Brady Quinn, I'll preface this with that. I'd like to believe that Brady Quinn has enough people that he can call and follow up on that and see if that is actually the case. Now, he hasn't said that he, where he got that information. You're never going to divulge where you get that information from.
Saying, that just doesn't sound right. Like, all right, so the guy's status is dropping because he didn't go to a quarterback camp that he was committed to go help out and also learn.
But look, what did we say about the McShay when he talked about Jalen Carter?
Right.
And I don't want to put Stroud in the same camp as Jalen Carter, but, there was a lot of backlash for Todd McShay when he talked about, quote-unquote, red flags.
Yeah, but that's different, though.
Yeah, it is different. It is different. It totally is different.
Yeah.
It's probably an unfair example.
Because
I guess I'm just trying to, at what point are you allowed to talk negatively or say something negative about a player?
You can't.
You can't without being accused of craziness. Whether being accused of a poor work ethic, being accused of no integrity, being, being accused of a racial bias.
I think one thing is true. He's going to be a good quarterback. I truly believe
you liked him. You like him the best out of this draft.
I do.
Yeah.
You like him the best.
I think he's the most ready. Now, I don't know if he's going to balloon up in his weight. I'm not sure of that, but I think he is the most ready quarterback out of all of them right now.
And he very well could be. He very well could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Ohio State's quarterbacks.
Realistically, I just can't put anybody over Bryce Stroud. I mean Bryce Young. I can't put anybody over.
That's the perfect guy.
Yeah,
Bryce Stroud.
Right, Bryce Young with C.J. Stroud's body.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the perfect guy.
6'3.5", 6'4". Yeah, Bryce Young for me, man. I can't put C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young.
No doubt. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, we're expected to be joined by the president of brand marketing for Dispo Dispensary, and we'll get to some NFL news. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
Oh, Cousins Maine Lobster. What a great food truck it is. Make sure you click on that QR code so you can find out where the Cousins Maine Lobster truck is at today. They might be in your area. Check it out. And don't forget to download their app or just go to cousinsmainelobster.com. They have, honestly, guys, the best lobster, the best seafood that you could get. Yeah, it's in a food truck, but you got to see these things. They are beautiful, professional kitchens. Amazing. You would think you're eating in New England when you're eating right here in beautiful Detroit, USA. Check them out at cousinsmainelobster.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey gang, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. If you are wondering why in the hell we are at our studios in Birmingham, Michigan.
We want to know too.
We wish we would have waited it out at this point, Tom Mazawey. There's no doubt about it.
I know. The equipment was getting wet, though.
It was. The equipment was getting soaked, and we had to bail. But the heavyweights will be out there. Let's go out there live now to Romeo. It is Dispo Dispensary. Let's join the president of Braylon Marketing, Ryli. Ryli, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing great because we're here celebrating weed, and it couldn't be a better time here at Dispo Romeo. How are you doing?
Braylon's pissed off we're not there.
It's 420. I'm in the studio talking to these guys, man. I don't want to say. I just wish I was talking.
You're here in spirit.
I want to be there.
For you, man.
Make sure you save my care package.
Hey, gotta send me a care package or something, man.
Ryli, I got to tell you, we were out there earlier today, and the place was packed. The facility was beautiful. Tell our viewers a little bit about Dispo and what you guys do out there in Romeo and how great it is to be out there today. And I know the heavyweights will be there tonight from 5 to 7 if people still want to come out.
That's the easiest place.
Absolutely. So we're at Dispo Romeo, and this is the first cannabis mall to exist in Michigan. And Dispo is one of Braylon Marketing's many clients in the cannabis industry in Michigan. And what Dispo Romeo is all about is creating an experience unlike any other. They're trying to create a destination point where there's so many unique elements to the store, and there's nothing else really like it. There's going to be the big showcase budroom, which is available to consumers today in soft open stage, and then they have individual boutique shops where they're going to bring brands like Hyman Cannabis and Hydro Pros and other various brands to have their own boutique shop within the mall, and a lot of other fun things that are under construction that I can't yet announce. But at the end of the day, it is going to create a new user experience unlike any other, and I think they're doing just that and then some, and that's why it's been so packed today, like you said, because people are excited, as they should be, and cannabis is becoming more and more accepted, and we're just here to do our part.
Yeah, that was one of the things that got me. I'm still a relatively new smoker, but that's what got me into the space, is going to dispensaries. It's like being a kid in a candy store, and that's why I was so excited to get out there, because your guys' candy store is a lot bigger than most places. I saw that you guys had Ric Flair out there a little while ago, and a lot of wrestling fans in chat. Talk about Ric Flair and how that thing came about.
Yeah, so we've actually hosted a lot of celebrity signings here, Ric Flair being one of them. Shout out to Mitten Distro for launching their cannabis brand and including Dispo Romeo as a part of their tour. It's really popular in the cannabis industry for brands to collaborate with celebrities to bring them into the weed industry the right way. A couple months ago, maybe about a year ago, we also had Kevin Nash here, collaborating with Hyman Cannabis, who you can see behind us. And so it seems like wrestlers are getting really prominent in the cannabis industry, which is really exciting. It's becoming more accepted, and as that happens, more celebrities and more sports players specifically are now getting involved in the industry.
All right, we got some guys that are enjoying, and some ladies enjoying 420, listening on the chat, watching on the chat as well. Tell them about some of the flavors that you guys got there. Tell them about some of the strands. Excuse me, let me get my terminology right. Tell them about some of the new strands you guys got going on out there.
There's a lot of popular strains, some of which are actually showcased in this display behind me.
Okay.
Hyman has some really marquee strain genetics like Sanando, which is a sativa, citrusy strain, really uplifting. Or Kelly Kapowski, which is a fan favorite for anyone who watches the TV show.
Oh, yeah. I've seen every episode, Ryli. I've seen every episode.
Oh, see, there you go. Now you have to smoke the joint.
I'm coming out there for sure now.
See, now we got to go.
Hey, Ryli, let me ask you, because you mentioned about wrestlers and athletes and stuff like that. I do want to just go down this road. This has become a form of healing for so many people, marijuana, and they have gone down this road. I mean, wrestlers notoriously and athletes notoriously have popped pills to feel better for such a long time. And since the legalization of marijuana, it has become a way, a form of healing for them, for their bodies to heal. And you don't hear about them popping these pain pills anymore, getting addicted to the pain pills and going down a tougher path. This has become a medicinal part of their lives.
It really has, and that's part of what we're trying to be advocates for. And there's so many benefits to cannabis, and that's why we're trying to fight to break that stigma. And one of Braylon Marketing's clients, Chill Medicated, who recently became an MSO, multi-state operator, they curate products that are intended for pain relief, that are made with all natural ingredients. And it's really exciting speaking to the sports element, because Chill Medicated is going to be the first cannabis sponsor to a nationally recognized sports competition, the WCLO in Texas, and that's going to be May 10th through the 12th. So Chill Medicated is presenting that championship and with their CBD line of topicals, and it's really exciting because there's so many positive benefits from cannabis products like Chill Medicated. They have a topical balm that doesn't even get you high, but it's originated from the cannabis plant. So you don't get high, you don't have to take pain pills, and you can have your reliable relief. There isn't any downside in my opinion.
Hey, Ryli, before I let you go, you could win a trip to Hawaii today out there, or is that happening still out there?
Man, we got a lot of giveaways going on. So
Wow.
Dispo Romeo's showcase giveaway is a trip to Hawaii for two, where the hotel, the flight is included, along with $1,000 in spending cash. So that's their grand prize giveaway, and people at all 10 Dispo locations can enter, because Dispo Romeo is one of 10, but the mall is one of one. But aside from that, we're giving away tickets to the Movement Festival in Detroit, and a lot of other good baskets filled with products and other stuff like that. So definitely shop with good deals, get entered into giveaways, get some food from the taco truck behind us. It's a good time.
President of Braylon Marketing, Ryli, Dispo of Romeo off of 32 Mile Road and Van Dyke. Thank you so much, Ryli, for partnering with Woodward Sports. We're so sorry we had to bail on our show
Send
today.
a package for
but
me,
you
though.
had the morning
Send a
show.
package about heavyweights.
Yeah, he
Send
wants the package.
I'll get you a package, but
There we
at
go.
the same time, you weren't here today, so we're going to see you back soon.
There you go. Can't wait
Appreciate
for
it. There
that.
we go.
Thank you, Ryli. We appreciate your support here on Woodward Sports. Thank you so much.
Happy high holidays.
Amen to that. 4:20 it is. And so is now. It is 3:38, 38 minutes past hour number 2 of the program. We're going to go to Tom Mazawey now. We'll go to NFL news and notes. I want to hit on the NBA, if I could, with you next.
I got a bone to pick with sports.
Okay. NBA, Tom Mazawey has some gloating to do as well from last night. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
All right, guys, get on down to the Folding Warehouse at Hamtramck. 2 ways to play this great game of football and bowling, especially tonight on my bowling night. We're playing for first place tonight, by the way. Get on down to the Folding Warehouse at Hamtramck. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 of your friends on a lane for 2 hours. Run you $120. That's less than $10 per person. That's right. And if you're thirsty, they got you covered. Multiple full bars. That's right. Any drink you want, they got it. Over 100 beers on the menu. And the $2 mystery beer machine. As far as if you're hungry, you know you're going to be hungry, so you can bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get on down to the Folding Warehouse. Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life.
Oh, man, that place is
Okay. There it is. Centron. Here we go. Gotta grab your cranberry.
Go in and
Oh, wait. It's 2 for $4. Got double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, Planet Fitness, the home of the judgment-free zone. That's right, we're in our Planet Fitness studios as we speak. You know, you could work out there in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym that's always known for being the cleanest is now cleaner than ever. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of your physical and mental wellness. Join today in club or online at planetfitness.com. Make sure you tell them you heard it right here on Woodward Sports from the Planet Fitness studios. And I'll just keep talking until Ryan makes it back. There he is.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards. It's a beautiful 420 where we're supposed to be at the Dispo, but circumstances played out, as you heard from Ryli, who we just interviewed. We could not be there. Shout out to the heavyweights that will be there from 5 to 7. Ryan and Ermanni, where would you like to go, buddy?
This is where I'd like to go, is the NBA, because
yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the NBA. These playoffs have been it's the first round.
Yeah.
Right?
The junk.
It is junk minus a few series, right? Like,
Okay.
I think the Lakers-Memphis series is intriguing. I think the Warriors-Kings series is intriguing.
Unless the Kings sweep.
I think the Knicks-Cavs.
Even still, that'd be
I think the Knicks-Cavs series
really
is
got it.
intriguing. And that's pretty good for a first round of the playoffs. If you can have 3 intriguing first-round series, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, those are
I think for first round in the NBA, because it's so top seeds usually just clean up.
Don't sleep on the Clippers versus the Suns. Yeah, they're tied on 1-1.
That's true.
Yeah, so the NBA is going like that. But my bone is a pick. Yeah, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm gonna talk about their game last night against Memphis. Now, I don't care about who won or lost. Yeah, obviously Memphis win that game. Held the Lakers to their lowest output this season. You know, the Lakers haven't scored under 94 points or 96 points all season. Mine is in the softness of sports. Sports has become so freaking soft.
Mm-hmm.
So many people on Twitter, so many people sitting on their couch. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, no, say that. You're not supposed to taunt. You're not supposed to do that. Last night, Dylan Brooks is getting under LeBron James' skin. Now, he didn't get under LeBron's skin. LeBron had 28 and 12. He was the only basketball player for the Lakers that showed up. AD was nowhere to be found. Austin Reeves, the guy everybody say, he's him. Well, him had 12 points last night and 2 rebounds. So LeBron James showed up. But Dylan Brooks was talking to him a little bit. He was bumping him a little bit, being aggressive, made a 3, was talking some stuff to him. In the press conference, he called LeBron James old. And everybody's at home like, man, he's doing too much. Why is he putting hands on him? This is becoming physical. And then go back to the Draymond Green situation the other day. Draymond Green gets suspended for an incident where Domantas Sabonis grabs his leg. And then obviously from that situation, Draymond, to some people, steps on his chest, bruised his sternum. He played the role, got Draymond suspended. Exactly, he's playing the role, got Draymond suspended. Go back to the women's NCAA tournament. You shouldn't be talking like that. She shouldn't have did that to her. She shouldn't have did that to her. More people are watching the sport and making more about it than the people that are actually playing. The girls didn't have any problem with what was going on the court. The people at home watching did. The guys that are in the NBA getting into it and all that, they don't have a problem. It's the people at home. Sports are so soft. You wouldn't have been complaining about this in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, etc. Sports has gotten to a point where it's too soft. Even in football. Don't get me started with football. I play wide receiver.
It's touch.
I play wide receiver. You would think I would be happy with the way the rules are. You can't hit anybody. Nothing can happen anymore.
That's why I don't want a corner. That's why I don't want a corner at 6. They get penalized every play.
Do you know how many touchdowns are scored because the DBs don't want to hit the players, so they kind of go away and they lose track of their sight and don't know where the guy is at? Do you know how many sacks are missed in the NFL? Because guys are like, I don't want to rough the quarterback up, so you kind of half grab him, and then the quarterback escapes and throws a touchdown or escapes for a first down run. Sports is too soft. I was enjoying the stuff talking. Bring back the old getting into it a little bit. It makes sports better. Sports has gotten too soft, and eventually I'm not going to want to watch it.
The Bucs won.
I was going to say, Tom Mazawey, you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yep. That was easy.
That was easy money last night, you say.
And now tonight, you can also bet the Warriors.
Now you're saying, just for the people out there, just to revisit, if you weren't watching the show yesterday, Tom Mazawey said, bet your house payment, which we would never condone on this show. It is locker room talk. He said, bet the house on the Bucs last night, minus the 8.5.
Even without.
They won by 16 and covered the game.
They're a better team. Like this is the reason why Giannis Antetokounmpo can't win. He won't win the MVP this year because their team is so good without him. This is one of the things that hold people back from voting for him. This is why you see Embiid or Jokic get MVP this year when Giannis is the best player on the best team, but that's just it. I mean, you look at last night, Brook Lopez had 25 last night. Connaughton off the bench had 22 last night. Grayson Allen had 16 last night. They're a well-oiled machine, and when you bring him back, nobody can beat them.
So going into the fourth quarter last night, Tom Mazawey says take the Bucs minus the 8.5. Going into the fourth quarter last night, the Bucs were up 118-85. It was a 33-point lead.
Before you say another word, I was going to text you guys then. I was going to brag then. And I said, I ain't bragging
You've
yet.
seen this song and dance before.
I've seen it too long.
You've seen this before. The Heat outscored the Bucs 37-20 in the fourth quarter. And it ended up being a 16-point margin of victory. But my goodness.
They make you sweat.
They do make you sweat.
They make you sweat.
Maz, you got that. And then tonight,
I'm doubling down.
You're doubling down
the dubs
on the Warriors minus the 6.5.
Yep.
Okay.
I had my last 100 last night, and I put it on the Bucs.
So you won 90.
I won 90.
So you got 190.
I got 190, and I'm putting it on the
all
Dubs
190.
Tonight. All 190.
190 to win, 168.
I'm doing a daily double. I'm doing the double right there.
You better be careful with that with no Draymond. Like that's gonna be a scary situation on Draymond. Now the Warriors obviously play a lot better at home. Their younger guys, their bench players play a lot better at home. But not having Draymond, man, he may not score a lot of points, but he's damn good in pick and roll screens, setting up plays, getting screens for Clay to get open, shoot threes, Steph as well. Watch out for that, man.
They're going to win by 20.
I think Golden State wins. I don't know about 20. Mike Brown, man, he has the fix. Side note, did you hear what's going on with the whole situation with Draymond suspension and Joe Dumars?
No.
So nothing's. Let me not phrase it like that, like I'm dropping some news. But you know, Joe D has major friendships inside that Sacramento Kings organization. In fact, that's actually where he's been for the better part of the last 4 years, I think.
Because of Mike Brown, maybe?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So he's been working with the Kings.
That sounds pretty fishy.
Exactly. Like I'm not saying that's the reason why Draymond got suspended, because Draymond calls Joe D like a father figure. So they're friends. They know each other from when he was at Michigan State. I think Joe D's son was at Michigan, and they developed a relationship or whatever. So, but that's kind of fishy, Ryan. Like he's been with them, kind of doing some analytic work, or what do you call it? Kind of like Fox with the Lions.
Analyst work. You know what? We talked about Ryan Clark a minute ago.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark, in his playing days, every offseason, he would work with
ESPN
Mike and
Bristol.
Mike in the morning. He would work with Mike and Mike. That's where he got his start. And every offseason, he would go back and go back and go back. Because you know why? You know why? Because it's hard to retire in your mid-30s. It's hard to retire in your early 30s because I don't care how much money you have. you have to have some purpose. You have to be able to get up in the morning and go find something that you enjoy. And if you enjoy being around sports still, there's only a couple of things you can do. You can be a coach, a general manager, or a television analyst.
One of my biggest regrets, and it's funny you bring that up, is watching Ryan Clark. See, Ryan Clark was doing it, like you said, the whole time he was playing, but that wasn't even just in off season, Ryan. Like, this is bye weeks. Ryan Clark was going to Bristol, and he was doing shows at ESPN. So watching that kind of during, I'm like, why is he always there? You know what I was doing during bye weeks? I was going to Miami.
Sure.
I was going to New York. I was going to LA. I was going to Vegas. I was, coming back to Detroit and spending some time with the family, but I was doing that. He was doing that, and then you watch years later, he was ready for that transition. He was ready for the switch. And it took me a while to get to that switch, so I've always been admired him for that. He put in the work while he was playing. He sacrificed, fun and times and kicking it and going out and all that. He sacrificed that for a business that he's damn good at right now. And it's okay. We all have our off days, and yesterday was an off day for him. But he's damn good at what he does.
I got another NBA note for you guys. Besides the playoffs, Ime Udoka is, he interviewed with the Houston Rockets for their gig.
Has he interviewed with Detroit yet?
No.
Why?
Got me.
That's my first call. Honestly.
I know. That's why I brought it up. Honestly, I know you like him.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to let Dwayne Casey go during the season to call him first.
What I would ask is the situation with the Bucks. Where is Ime Udoka with that? Obviously, he's doing something decent because he's interviewing. So I wonder if the Pistons are like, what's that?
With the Rockets, you mean?
No, I'm talking about with the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, with the Bucks, the Celtics.
Oh.
So what's his contract with the Celtics? What was the whole of that situation? What was swept under the rug or maybe not swept under the rug? I wonder if the Pistons are waiting for the due diligence on that.
Well, here's what
the Rockets franchise sucks.
Here's the one thing about this, again, I don't know this. It's just my opinion, something that I feel could be the case. Jalen Rose went on ESPN, and he said, there's a little bit more to this maybe than we are talking about. Yeah. We think. We don't know. Jalen Rose is very close with Tom Gores. Very close with him. Yeah. He sits courtside next to him at several games, and maybe there's like hey, maybe you don't want this guy. Maybe that's a reason why.
Or make sure you do all your due diligence.
Or make sure you do all your homework.
You're going to find something.
Again, that's just me reading through the tea leaves. Maybe that's just nonsense. It could be, but
Celtics don't have to tell us what that extra stuff was. But the Celtics would have to tell Tom Gores.
Of course.
Celtics would have to tell insert Matt Ishbia.
I'm pretty sure everyone that has to know knows everything about that situation.
And Braylon, the only reason I say that about Jalen Rose and Tom Gores is because I can't think for 1 minute why he wouldn't be your first call, other than something like that.
Yeah.
The scenario in which I just presented. That's the only scenario I can come up with. That's the only scenario I'm capable of understanding as to why Ime Udoka wouldn't be your first, second, and third call.
Big E says Troy is worried about his wife.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying. Maybe Jalen Rose wants to coach.
Got to get to a break, but first, a message from Alta.
Oh, at Alta Equipment, uptime matters. That's right. At Alta Equipment, they got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party, live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. NHL playoffs underway tonight. Really happy that the Edmonton Oilers got a win last night. Boy, did they need one. We'll see what the Toronto Maple Leafs can do. I do think it's important. We talk about NHL, Tom, all the time. No, well, not all the time, but as it relates to the popularity of the game, I think it would move this game forward if teams like Edmonton and Toronto, because they have such dynamic players, the talent, the way they play, the style of play is so great and very appealing to the eye. I think it'll move this game forward if Toronto and Edmonton somehow find a way to move forward in the NHL playoffs.
No doubt, man. And those games going out tonight, you got the Devils and the Rangers. That could be a good series. Rangers really pounded the Devils the other night. Tampa Bay and Toronto. The Leafs got to win this game. It's a must-win. It's home ice. Seattle and Colorado. Colorado will probably wind up winning this game tonight. And Winnipeg at Vegas. I like Vegas tonight. But last night, Canes over the Islanders in overtime. Islanders needed that game. They kind of blew it late. Canes are in control. Panthers, they laid one on the best team in hockey, the Bruins, 6-3.
1-1.
I'm telling you, that's a 1-1 series. You never know. And the Stars, they got even with the Wild. Oilers got even with the Kings, like we told you. So the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball. Tigers are off today. They start a 3-game set with the Orioles tomorrow. And guess what? The Vegas Athletics, the Vegas A's.
They tried to do. They tried everything they could to stay in Oakland. Got 2 minutes left, but
it's funny. Every time we talk about something happens the next day. We just talked about it yesterday.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Yep. They've done everything they could possibly do to stay in Oakland.
They've only got a $23 million payroll.
Yeah,
so they really haven't done everything.
Well, why would they spend money? I mean,
to stay relevant, to spend the money. What do you think? The Yankees and the Dodgers, they pay this luxury tax for a reason for these poor teams to spend money and put a real team on the field.
Baby.
This is too big to get into, but you're not going to spend money on a team where you're moving. They've known they've been moving for some time.
20 years. He said it. In 20 years, they've been looking for a place.
Yeah. They've tried to stay in Oakland. It has become increasingly clear that they cannot stay in Oakland. You're not going to spend money on a roster when you know you're going to move.
They have bought a plot of land in Vegas. They're going to spend $1.5 billion on a stadium that holds about 36,000. They better put a roof on it because it's going to be hot.
Yeah, they have to retractable. You play all night games like you do in Texas.
Yep, $1.5 million, and the A's look like
Phoenix.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, it looks like they're shipping off to Vegas.
There you go. Get us out of here, big guy.
Can't live between two worlds. That's what the A's said. We got to go to Vegas, bro. Hey, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. Shout out to Fletch. Fletch is the deal with
great job, Fletch.
He's been doing the job of 18 people. He's been doing it both by himself and dealing with us as well. And you people out there, show some love to Fletch. It's 420. I'm about to go get high. See y'all later.
Max, here he comes.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Good shit. Fucking Michigan State shirt.